Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video on this channel. If you're new around here, my name is Marcelina. I am a teenage author. I publish mystery romance books, YA, all suitable for teenagers. And on this channel, we focus mainly on writing, publishing content. I post short form content and edits about the characters to kind of get you guys hyped and intrigued, and then long form vlogs about my publishing process to hopefully inspire other writers. So, that being said, I am currently working on a book, obviously. It is called Labeled Innocent, Presumed Dead. It's kind of inspired by like Jennifer Lynn Barnes as a whole, like the Inheritance Games, the Natural series, all of her well-known books, and then there's some Pretty Little Liars influences, some A Girl's Guide to Murder influences, and I'm taking inspiration from true crime cases, podcasts. It is a really fun time all wrapped up into one, and it is releasing on February 14th, 2026 in just like, what is that, 4 months from now? 3 months from now? 3 months, I think. I cannot do math, but it is coming up soon, so you should totally subscribe and stick around for the journey. Also, pre-orders are opening. I think by the time this is going up, they'll be up in exactly a week. Friday, November 21st, cover reveal day, pre-orders are opening, and there'll be an official Goodreads page up. So once that goes live, I'll update the description, link it down below. You should stay tuned because that all opens on the 21st, and it'll be a really fun time, and I'm super excited. But in the meantime, just because pre-orders are opening, just because I have a bunch of fun things in the works and people can start adding into their TBR, I'm gonna start reaching out to art readers later this month. Like, the ball is rolling, but that does not mean that this book is done and that it's just sitting in my Google Drive, completed. No. This book is still not done. I know, I've been working on it forever, for what seemed like forever. I started outlining back in February, and then I wrote it during the summer. And then I've been editing throughout the different stages ever since. And I only just recently finished beta edits, where I've been bringing in other people as my editors to kind of give me constructive criticism and outside feedback. But now we are officially starting draft 5, the second to last draft, and also my favorite draft in the entire book, aside from first draft, rough draft writing, of course. But this is literally my favorite stage of the editing process. I love it so much, and I'm really excited. So I'm actually not going to get into really what line editing is. I have a whole video about it that I made last week actually for this reason. I just kind of give updates on cover reveal stuff, line editing. I spend like 30 minutes talking about what it is, why it's necessary. I give a little like metaphor analogy. It was actually pretty good, if I do say so myself. And then I kind of talk about my strengths and weaknesses and what I'm looking for. So please go check that out for a little bit more insight. I'll link it in the description down below once again. But to sum it up, line edits are basically the frosting on the cake. Like, the cake itself is done, it's baked, it's fully ready to be eaten and served to customers. That's like your story as it stands. But it's not complete, and that unfinished aspect of it will lower a person's enjoyment factor of the whole thing. So the line edits are kind of like really just polishing it, really just strengthening up your actual writing. Like, the plot is solid, but strengthening up your writing, tightening up the prose, fixing things on a more like paragraph by paragraph, word by word level, like sentence structure, all that good stuff. So that's what I'm going to be working on in this video. I'm definitely not going to finish in this video, that is 100% for certain. I already prefaced last week that I'm going to have at least 2, if not realistically 3 vlogs about my line editing process. So this is just part 1. I don't know how many parts there'll be, but we're at least going to start line editing and see where that takes me. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's go. Hey guys, I recently woke up, so please don't mind my appearance right now. It is currently 9:48 a.m. on Sunday, November 9th. I'm out here home alone at the moment, sitting on the couch with my laptop, and oh my gosh. So I will say I haven't gotten into like the rereading part, but I am watching Abbie Emmon's couple of videos. One's from like 5 years ago, one's from 9 months ago, but it's still very helpful nonetheless. The first one is 10 weak words you should cut from your novel. And the second one is 10 more weak words you should cut from your novel. And it is honestly one of the most useful things I've watched in a really long time. I love Abbie Emmons. She is arguably maybe the most popular like writer, author, tuber in the community. I'm not quite sure about that. She's definitely the one with the most subscribers that I watch. She has 568,000 subscribers, and obviously that's for a reason. She makes really insightful writing videos and craft videos, and less about publishing, I will say, and more just about like writing and editing and the actual craft of that. If you have never heard of her, like, please take this as your sign. She is absolutely phenomenal at what she does. This little duology of videos is helping me out so much. So I'm actually just going through and I'm using like the word, I don't know if you can see that, like the word search thingy. I think it's, at least for Google Docs, I think it's Control F. And then I'm just like searching up all the words that she's recommending we cut, and I'm not immediately cutting them, but like I'm rereading every sentence that they appear in and then making a judgment call of like, should I cut this, should I keep it? And I would say a golden rule of thumb with that is like temporarily like take it out for a second and then reread the sentence. And if the sentence flows or sounds exactly the same, and or it conveys the exact same message that I wanted it to without this word, then I can just cut the word. But if it kind of sounds weird, if it sounds a little choppy or just like incomplete, then I'm gonna put the word back. So like some of the examples, I'm only on her third example right now. Her first one was suddenly, which I was like, okay, I don't use suddenly that much. Who uses suddenly that much? Me. Little old me. Hit almost 100 suddenlies in the whole novel, and then like 11 more all of a suddens. I did not realize how many I have, but she was basically saying it kind of falls under like the show don't tell rule. So like technically everything happens suddenly, so like sometimes you don't really have to say that. I think it's just hard though because mine's like a really fast-paced thriller mystery, so like there are a lot of things that happen suddenly that I want to take note of, like sudden plot twist. But anyway, I'm on the third one right now, and she was saying very is a filter word that you need to cut out. And like if you say very cute, that doesn't make the weak word of cute any stronger. It just makes it wordy. Altogether, you need to find a new word. So instead of saying very cute, just say adorable. You know what I mean? So I just out of curiosity searched up how many uses of very I have. I have 113 instances where I used very in this manuscript. What am I doing? That is insane. 113 is crazy. Like, why am I using that word 113 times? I don't even like that word. It's just like such a filter word. But anyway, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna continue working through her list and cutting out all of these filter words and quite literally killing my darlings. It's okay. I know it's making the prose stronger. It's tightening things up. So that's good. But I'll check in later. I'm gonna crash out. I'm actually gonna lose it. I was doing like the Control F to word search for words in the manuscript for editing filter word purposes still, and I looked up was, because that is definitely a very like show not tell thing in certain cases. So I wanted to go through them because like if you say like the sun was shining, there are definitely other ways to say that where it's more descriptive. I have 1,415 usages of the word was in this book. Guys, it's gonna take up my whole day to go through this. Oh my gosh. I fear I'm going to lose my mind. It is currently 5:44 p.m. the same day, Sunday, November 9th. I somehow got the was count down to 1,219. I deleted 200 usages of the word was. Guys, I don't want to look at this book ever again. I haven't even done my read through and I hate it. Okay guys, first of all, please don't mind the loud washer and dryer that's running in the background. This is gonna be a really quick update anyway. But I'm in the middle of line editing, and you want to know what like a super humbling experience is? How much I use the word just. Just is just such a crutch word for me. All jokes aside though, I don't know what's going on. Like, definitely the epitome of a filler word, and you should not have it. I think in dialogue you can get away with it a little bit more because dialogue should be, and this is kind of my own personal step, making my dialogue feel more natural, less forced or stilted, which has been a problem that beta readers have pointed out, which I'm grateful for. Thank you guys. But a step to that is like, I don't want to say put slang, like, y'all, if in the future, and I mean in the next like 5 to 10 years, if I see a book where there's like 6, 7 slang, I'm DNFing, I'm leaving a 1 star. Y'all know. Go on Wattpad for that, please. Keep that out of the publishing world. Thank you very much. But I mean, like, I feel like in dialogue it is a lot more acceptable to use these filler words. I'm actually gonna go in here, 1 sec. But I feel like it's a lot more acceptable to use these filler words like, just, but like specifically when characters are speaking. So, for example, I feel like I've always found, and I found this mainly in fanfics, I'm not gonna lie, when I was in my like 2020, 2021, 2022 like fanfic era. Weren't we all though at that time? But at that point, like where the, it doesn't even have to be the main character, but whichever character's POV we're in, if they start like stuttering in their monologue, in their thoughts, instant ick. Like, I will admit there are some like kind of instances where, for example, like in this book, it's all, well, for the most part, there's a few chapters, but for the most part, 90% of this book is in Natalia's point of view. And there'll be some points where maybe Jaden, who's kind of known for being a little overbearingly charming and flirty, he'll say like a really flirtatious line. And then in Natalia's internal monologue, she'll be like, what the heck? So like I'll use in that term, but I think you have to like keep that separate. So what I'm trying to say is like using those kind of like filter words, just like especially stuttering in dialogue at times without overusing it. There is a balance here, but that makes it feel a little bit more natural. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed from many of my videos, but I tend to say like a lot. I don't know why. I don't know. However, that being said, I'm trying to live by those rules, but I keep finding just, it's like haunting me in every paragraph. I'm sitting here like, guys, why? I think I have an obsession with this word. I think I need to get married and make some vows to the word just, because I have apparent attachment issues to it. But actually, I'm divorcing it because y'all would be proud of me. I had 311 usages of the word just. I did a little last night, then I had to go to bed, but I promise I'm going to pick up right after I finish homework in a few minutes. But I got it down to 300. Woo! Yeah, I know, it's not all that great. But again, you have to remember that I was going through, and a lot of them, like, you can't just word search and then cut all the just, because just is really acceptable. I mean, dialogue, like we just talked about, but also comparison and time purposes. Like, that's just grammar. Like, for example, if you have a sentence such as, when my dad left the hospital, it was just me and my mom. That is an instance where you cannot cut just. Because you know what will happen if you cut just? It'll say, when my dad left the hospital, it was me and my mom. That sounds so awkward and stilted. And I don't just mean awkward like the situation of just being with you and your mom is awkward. I mean, who says that? Like, okay, if you were to add left at the end, and you were to say, when my dad left the hospital, it was me and my mom left, that still sounds really wonky. Like, that does not flow correctly, but like it sounds a little better. But like, you kind of have to have just mainly is a filler word, but there are some instances that it's used like for, I don't know how to describe it, but like there was just one cookie left. Like, unfortunately, it's not one of those things where I can just be like delete and spam the delete button. I actually have to read very carefully through each and every sentence and figure out like, would this make sense without it? I don't know, I feel like that's my whole job at this point. This might be what the whole video is about, if I'm being honest, just like the filter word stuff, because I'm trying to get this stuff done before I move on to my read through, which contains me like analyzing sentence by sentence as I'm reading through. We're doing that probably next week, so it'll probably be mainly in next week's video. Sorry about that. But that's how it's going right now. I did not know I have such an attachment to just, but shocking new revelation, I suppose. Also, don't mind me, guys. I just finished crying. I actually hate this book. I hate it. 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 I actually want to throw this book in the fire. I've said this before. I don't care. I am at a point. What am I doing with my life? Like, genuinely, oh my gosh, I don't like this book. I don't think it's going anywhere. I feel as if I am just wasting my time because I am overanalyzing dialogue, and my eyes cannot read any words. Like, I'm just seeing these quotation marks and I'm getting a headache because it's just so cringy. I'm cringy and I'm just like, it's so like not funny, and I just hate my writing. When I say I hate this book, I sometimes almost wish it was written by another person, in the sense of like, if I was looking at an out-of-body experience and this was a book written by another person, I would read it. I think the plot is really good. I think the backstories and the twists are really good, and I'm proud of myself for that, and I don't think I'll ever hate the plot or the characters. When I say I hate the book, I don't mean those aspects. I mean like my writing. I hate my writing. Like, what is wrong with me? I don't know, but my writing is like, it's weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I actually just like, can I like not publish because I hate this book so much. Someone help me. Okay, hi guys. It's a few hours later from when I last updated you. I don't even know when I last updated you, if I gave the date. I was that in it. Today is currently Thursday, November 13th. It is currently 5:19 p.m. and yes, I'm feeling a lot better than I was before. I mean, I'm still a little bit, I don't want to say feeling negatively or like pessimistically about this book, because I don't know, I will say that just like any other emotion, it passes with time. Not saying that it disappears completely, nor am I saying that like it was invalid what I was feeling before, like I was just overreacting. Like, genuinely, these are real feelings that I'm battling, real insecurities and anxieties about the April Innocent presumed dead. It's just sometimes with time, and plus I ate and I was really hungry, maybe that's why. But you just kind of get a clearer head and your perspective kind of shifts. And again, it's not that like those insecurities and those fears go away, so much as you have different priorities. And my priority right now is just like, I'm just gonna finish this and I'm gonna do the best I can. I've already had 4 people read it and they all enjoyed it thoroughly. So like, I know I'm probably just in my head, and I know like the worst that can happen is that I'm gonna publish this book, do the best I possibly can, and then like everyone's gonna hate on it, which like low-key, that's not as bad as like holding it back and then like you guys never getting to make that judgment whether you hate it or not. You know what I mean? Like, you never get that choice to like voice your opinion. I feel like I'm just like, I've spent so many months and so many hours working on this that it would feel like such a waste to not publish it. I just like conflicting feelings, you know what I mean? But anyway, we're gonna take a slight break from line editing and we're gonna actually do something, I don't want to say fun, but we'll say mindless. I feel like line editing, part of why I know I said in my other video that line editing is my favorite part of the process, and I swear it is. Like, this sounds like I'm having a miserable time. I'm not, and it is not miserable. It genuinely is my favorite part of the process, like editing wise. I just, for some reason, it's so tedious, and it's like really when you pick apart your writing. Beta edits, developmental edits, it's like plot stuff. I can laugh at myself and be like, oh my gosh, I renamed a character halfway through the book, like, I'm so silly, or like, oh my gosh, how did I not catch that this person was sitting in this scene and standing in the, like, you know what I mean? I could laugh at myself, be like, guys, I wrote these scenes like a week apart, like, don't judge me. But I feel like when it comes to line edits and my writing, it's like, oh, I hate my writing, especially I'm reading a lot more lately, and I'm reading some really good books lately, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm comparing myself, and I'm just like, prose wise, I don't like it, but how do I fix it? You know what I mean? I just need to do something that is still productive, that still counts as me working on this book, but isn't necessarily line edits. So what we're gonna do is I'm trying to be on frame here. We're gonna work on some front matter and maybe some back matter. With my book, I don't know if I showed this off at the beginning. This is my other published book, YA Mystery Romance, called The Book That Divides Us. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I usually do my spiel at the beginning, but anyway. So the front matter is, so title page, copyrights page, dedication, really long playlist. Okay, so Spotify playlist page 1, Spotify playlist page 2, Spotify playlist page 3, Spotify playlist page 4. There is an official playlist to this book, like obviously it's in here as you saw, but it is actually on Spotify if you don't want to search up all these songs yourself, if you just want to like have the actual playlist. I'll link in the description down below. And while we're on that topic, my current book that I'm working on, labeled Innocent Presumed Dead, has had a playlist as well for months. I created it back in May, so I'll link that in the description down below as well. If you want to go follow it, check out some of the songs, maybe get a feel for the vibe or like some indirect spoilers. We can put context clues together. But anyway, so that's that. And then I have trigger warnings, because this is kind of like I don't want to say it's a dark romance, but there are some like darker themes. And then we jump straight into the prologue. So that is front matter. So if you did not know, front matter is everything in the front for the story. So like everything I just described. This has literally been my pride and joy. I've been rereading it recently because I miss it so much. So like sometimes the author will have like an also by page that could be in the front, considered front matter as well. Author's notes usually are at the front. And like, if you don't know, this is literally one of my favorite books of all time, one of my favorite series of all time. Please track trigger warnings, but please take this as you're trying to go read it. But if you did not know, this whole series is set in Ireland. There's definitely very much Irish slang. That's like half of the dialogue, which sounds like weird, but I promise once you get used to it, you enjoy it just as much as any other book, I promise. But because of that, she has like a name pronunciation guide right here, and then a glossary, a multi-page glossary. So anyway, point being, that counts as front matter. All the stuff in the front. Back matter, go back to my book for a second. Because I was going to use Binding 13, but I think she has the playlist in the back, which isn't traditional. Usually, like, playlists count as front matter. But, like, back matter, usually it's just, like, the about the author, but also acknowledgements are commonly addressed on there about the author. And if there's any, like, bonus scenes or sneak peeks, if it's a series, like, sneak peeks to other books, that's in the back matter as well. I, in my doc, have blank pages. I don't know if you can see that. So like, this is my cover page. This is gonna stay the same because like formatting wise, yes, you're supposed to be that big of a space. That's meant for signing books. Okay, I know what I'm doing. And then you scroll down, I have a place for copyrights, and then you see it's blank. I formatted this when I wrote the first draft, and I've just kept this blank because I know it's easier to do this than like having to add pages to your already existing manuscript. So if you know you're going to publish, a little tip, just like set this up and just like put it, but you don't have to fill out the front matter until you get to a later stage. Keep forgetting my computer touchscreen. So then we have the dedication. So I'll put that there, and then I have a blank space for the playlist. I think I put, oh wait, did I only put one page for the playlist? Oh, I did. The playlist. Do y'all want to know how long the labeled Innocent Presumed Dead playlist is? It's 99 songs. 5 hours long. There is no freaking way, unless I make the font size like 0.2, there's no way that all of those songs are fitting on one page, but okay, it's fine. I don't know what I was thinking. And then we have trigger warnings. And I think, yeah, that's it. Then it jumps straight into the prologue. Copyrights, literally, in case you didn't know, in case you're like, oh, I don't know the legalness of that, it's literally the same. You just copy and paste the same thing. I think I got this template online. I don't remember, I'm sorry, but basically it's copyright and the symbol 2025, which I'll need to change to 2026 because it's supposed to be the year that you publish in. So since it's not 2026 yet, but I know this book's going to be published in 2026, I say 2026 by Marcelina LeBeau, so by the author. And then this part is the same.
All rights reserved. No part of this production may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or other electronic or mechanical methods without the prior written permission of the author, except as permitted by U.S. copyright law.
And this is the part you change. For permission request, contact author name at website name. And then this part is very, very standard to literally every book in the world.
This book is a work of fiction. Any references to historical events, real people, or real places are used fictitiously. Other names, characters, places, and events are products of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to actual events or places or persons, living or dead, is entirely coincidental.
Thing is, though, is that there are resemblance to actual events in my book, because there's like some of the subplots, like the cases that are given to the main characters are based off of like real cold cases and real true crime cases that I'm really interested in, that I want to bring awareness to, that are very much real. So when it's like any resemblance to actual events are coincidental, it's actually not, but it's fine. And then this is the part you change book cover by, and then you usually put who you hired, but since I'm making myself, I just put my name, and then the first edition, which should be, well, I don't want to say it should be your only edition, that's a different topic for a different video, and then you put the year. So basically what I'm trying to say is I can just copy and paste exactly what I did. The only thing I need to change, obviously my name didn't change, the fact that I designed my own cover didn't change with this book, my website didn't change, the only thing I need to change is the year. So copyright should take like 2 seconds. My hair. What else? Oh, dedication. I'm so excited to write the dedication. I'm gonna write it and then I'm gonna tell you guys, because I'm so proud of myself. I have written 2 dedications for like my 2 other full-length novels. Do you want me to read them? Fine, I'll read them. Okay, so from like my very first like full-length novel that ever saw the light of day, which this is arguably my favorite dedication, to all my book talk girlies. To all my girlies who stay up until 3 a.m. reading, to all my girlies who have too many fictional crushes / book boyfriends to count, I wrote this book for you. Oh my gosh, I love that. I was so creative 2 years ago, dang. Where did that creativity go? And then as for the book that divides us dedication, this one was like really sweet too. It like really applied to like the theme of the book, what my FMC Alyssa was going through, but it applies to like everyone. For all the girls who stay strong so people don't know they're secretly breaking, for all the girls who push their mental health aside at the expense of others, for all the girls who read as a form of escapism. I wrote this book for you, you're worth it and loved by many, never forget it. Both are really wholesome and really sweet. And I've definitely gotten compliments on both. But I can't even speak. This one, I came up with this. I have it on my notes app, which I can't get to right now because I'm recording. But as soon as I stop recording, I'm gonna find it and I'll tell you guys in a minute when I came up with it, because I haven't edited the notes app. So whenever it says I created the note, it's when I came up with it. I want to say it was like in June or July. It was during the summer. I want to say. Don't quote me on that though. But it is competing for my favorite dedication. I will say that it's very niche in the way of like, okay, it's kind of based off a song lyric, but at the same time, should I just say it? Okay, I'm not gonna say it yet, but let me just say it's based off a song lyric from a Taylor Swift song. It's one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, and I think it should, fingers crossed, be recognizable enough that people get the reference. If they don't, they're just gonna be like, huh? I'm gonna leave you in suspense, but I will tell you what exactly the dedication is in just a minute, but I'm gonna get to doing that. Also, what else do I have to do? So copyright, dedication, playlist. Bro, I'm stressed for the playlist because that means I have to hand type every single one of the 99 songs. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like, is it all of her songs? I'm pretty sure it's every single one of Olivia Rodrigo's songs. The titles are in lowercase. All of Taylor Swift's folklore songs are lowercase, which I actually didn't realize until just now. What the heck? Because like none of her other like albums are. I think not all, but a lot of Tate McRae's songs are lowercase. Also, oh my gosh, on the topic of Tate McRae, the fact that So Close to What Deluxe comes out on November 21st on cover reveal day, I'm screaming. You want to know why I'm screaming? Because So Close to What literally coincides, like it's holding hands, linking arms with this book. This book is so close to What coded. I'm not even kidding. I have 5 songs from So Close to What on the official playlist. I have 6 songs from Tate McRae. on there, like, period, because one of them is from her previous sophomore album, I think. Yeah, sophomore album. I think later it's Guilty Conscience. Like, so close to what just kind of embodies Natalia, and like the fact that like the deluxe edition of that album is releasing on Coverly, which is like when pre-orders open, like it's a big sales day for this book. Oh my gosh, I'm so hyped. You have no idea. I'm like literally screamed when I saw that. But anyway, back to playlists and songs. Because a lot of songs specifically on this playlist, but like also just songs in general, have like lowercase titles and stuff, or like abbreviations in the title, I don't just automatically capitalize them. Like, I really try to make sure that I keep them very SEO friendly. Like, I end up having to go back and forth to make sure like Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo, for example, like it's not good for you, it's for you. So like I just really type it out exactly, and I keep having to go back and forth. So basically, you may not think that this playlist page takes forever. It takes forever. Don't ask me how long it took to go divide this. I think it took at least 30 minutes. It's tedious and annoying. And then trigger warnings, which I will say I need to think about this more, because I need to really think. I don't want to put an extensive list, but I need to think, what exactly do I want to put? Because I was toying with this yesterday. I was like thinking about like the order of events in my book, because I was editing yesterday, and I was just like getting to a certain part, and I was just thinking like, this book has abortion in it. Well, okay, not by the main character. I don't want to spoil anything. Oh my gosh, this is hard. One of the important characters does have an abortion, and that is talked about. It's like in a medical file, and there's like a whole back and forth dialogue conversation for like 2 pages maybe, and then in another scene a few chapters later it is referenced again. And I'm just like, do I put that? Because I know I don't want to get like all political in here. I have to do this, but I just like, I know with the state of how things are, especially in America, with abortion being such a hot topic lately, like, are people so sensitive to the point, like them leaving a bitter 1-star review, or getting mad at me, or like even DNFing it because they're like, oh, there's abortion in this book and I didn't know that. Like, I'm so like not one of those people who care. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna exactly say my viewpoint, but I think you can gather it. Like, if it was something like a miscarriage, I feel like that does permit a trigger warning, because I do know that that is a traumatic thing for some people. And although like this is a YA book, so it's mainly for teenagers, so that wouldn't really be triggering. You know, I don't know people's personal situations. Also, I'm not gonna say that like adults aren't allowed to read it. I had quite a few adult ARC readers actually, and I'm planning to reach out to hundreds of book influencers, and most of them are adults, like from Book Talk and BookTube, and most of them are adults. So like, I think anything involving pregnancy, not as a trigger, because that sounds negative, but I'm just like, trigger warnings are tough. Obviously there's the obvious ones. There's mentions of kidnapping and trafficking and rape in this book, so obviously that's important, but there are just like little things. I feel like I kind of want to change trigger warnings to content warnings, because I kind of want to I don't know. I think I'm gonna change it to content warnings, because I feel like trigger warnings limits it. I feel like that implies that everything I'm saying is a trigger. Everything that I'm saying could impact someone's mental health negatively, or could make you feel uncomfortable, like, you know what I mean? But I feel like content warnings is more what I want to achieve, where I'm just warning you about the darker themes and content, and you can decide. That way I can put abortion, because I do want to let people know, because again, I don't care, and I think it's perfectly valid, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to include it, so I think, let me do that right now. I'm gonna change it to content warnings. That way, again, it like really allows me to do whatever I want with this. Enough rambling. I'm just going to start filling out the front matter to give me something to do, and I will update you guys later.
On a run from my given disaster, speed away from the holy mind, pride. I swear I never thought it would matter if I'm gone by now. All my weakness keep on linger on repeat, like it will be my favorite song. Oh, I know I should be moving on, but you got me good, I keep on driving till it bends, still it feels like I pretend. Keep on driving and driving along the road to never end. Lost my head over my back between the jars and bottle jack. Just me and all the red lights. Keep on driving and driving. right now.
Okay, y'all. The time has finally come for me to reveal the dedication of this book. I finished writing. Actually, I did not finish the playlist because, like I said, that takes forever. My time lapse can only go so much because my storage only has so much available. Anyway, are you ready for the dedication? Drum roll, please. For all the who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay, girls. This one is for you. The Archer reference. Guys, when I tell you, the Archer is definitely on this playlist. It is on this playlist, right? Wait, are you freaking kidding me? Is the Archer not on this playlist? Hold on. Y'all are gonna get a view in my closet for a second. Hold the heck on. The Archer is not on the playlist. Oh, so Mirrorball is on this playlist, which is good. Mirrorball describes Natalia. Bro, what is wrong with me? I swear. Okay, here's the thing. Not trying to make excuses for myself. I have so many Spotify playlists. Most of them are private. That's why if you're only like, Marcelina, you only have 2 public ones. Yeah, because this is kind of like my author account, sort of, kind of. Because I always talk about it in videos and like I link it in my books and stuff. I try to only make my books playlists public. But I create a playlist for almost every single book I read. I create it. I have so many like personal ones for school, for studying, for certain themes of books, certain times of my life, situations. I just have so many playlists that I think I forgot which one I added what to. And I know I've been listening to The Archer. I'm going to update this playlist. Actually, that's also part of the reason why I don't want to write the playlist yet, because I was looking through it the other day and I realized I created this playlist back in May before I wrote the book. That's a very strategical decision I made before to like set it up so I have something to write with and to, and that I'm not kind of building it as I go, because that's just another thing I have to do while I'm writing, and I try to lock into first draft writing and just focus on that and nothing else. But obviously books change from outline to what is now in this book, the 5th draft. So a lot of these songs, not a lot, I would say like at least 4 of these songs, maybe 5, worked with the original outline, but they're kind of outdated now. So I'm going to go through this weekend and just kind of like, I have a couple new songs that I've heard recently that fit perfectly. Obviously The Archer, that should have been on the playlist from day one. What the heck am I doing? But I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean this out, just remove a couple of songs that don't necessarily fit with like the new and improved vibe of this book that I've kind of switched it, and we're gonna add a couple new ones. That's my but anyway. I love The Archer, and The Archer is just so Natalia coded. Like if you pull up the lyrics, you're gonna go back on the floor for a sec. Let me just read some lyrics that are very Natalia coded. I jump off the train, I ride off alone, I never grew up, it's getting so old, help me hold on to you. You'll see. You guys are like not gonna understand any of this, but like I promise. And then this part, I've been the archer, I've been the prey, who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay? And then the second one, a few verses down, is I've been the archer, I've been the prey, screaming, who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay? And then it's like, I see right through me, because they see right through me. They see right through me, they see right through. Can you see right through me? They see right through, they see right through me. I see right through me, I see right through me. Which, like, that is so real. That is like Natalia's process. That's how our overthinking mind works. That's really just like her insecurities and like some of the other lyrics. Because all of my enemies started out friends. Damn. Oh. Cough, cough, her mother. Stephanie. That could also, like, I know I said this was very Natalia coded, but I could see this from a couple people's point of view. Like, Alexander Genevieve, hello? If you know, you know. If you don't, you'll figure it out. Getting back to, like, the dedication, who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay, is, like, it's so speaks to Natalia's internal conflict. You know I'm a big screamer believer of internal conflict around here. I truly believe that is like the magic of what makes a story good. That's like the secret ingredient in the recipe here. And I think it really speaks to Natalia has attachment issues. And I don't mean attachment issues like she gets attached. I mean she pushes people away because she doesn't want to get attached, because she's scared of getting attached, because she's scared of getting close to them, because everyone she's ever loved has gotten taken away from her. So now she's like, okay, well, what's the point of making friends, of having a relationship, of loving someone, whether platonically or like in a family setting or romantically, like if they're just going to either leave me or circumstances are going to take them away, like life is going to take them away. So she just like pushes people away. She just doesn't want to get close to them, and she kind of isolates herself because she is afraid. Like, that's something that I knew from day one. If you saw like any of my early outlining vlogs when I was like really just starting to nail down her character, this was something I've said through and 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 through from the beginning. Actually, wait a second. I'm gonna go through my vlogs. I think I have a certain clip in mind. If I can find it, I'll put it in here where I literally talk about this. And I talk about, it was back in March, and I was, like I said, really establishing Natalia's character, and I was building her character outline and her character profile, which is a technique. The character profile is a technique I got from the lovely Abbie Emmon. She's my favorite writing creator on here. And I was doing that, and I think I was talking about her internal conflict and her flaws and misbeliefs. So I'll put that on the screen if I can find it. Natalia is going to be an Enneagram 5, which is actually called the Investigator, which is perfect. But essentially, an Enneagram 5 is, they're very perceptive, they're very independent, they're very self-reliant. They don't typically like to ask for help. They like to just always be in control, do everything themselves. Their fear is to be incapable. Like, that's just who they are, and that's very, very much Natalia. So going along with that, her weakness is she struggles with asking for help because she prefers to be independent and only rely on herself. Also isolates herself for emotion regulation and pushes people away. Doesn't get too attached because they might leave or she might lose them. And she overthinks everything. So I'm just sitting here writing that, and that's also like very loosely woven from like typical weaknesses of Enneagram 5s, but also like just based on who I am trying to write her to be within her character arc, her character development, the growth, and she needs to start out as being like that. So as you can see, this has been something that's been brewing for a long time. And I just feel like it's so symbolic to tie a Taylor Swift lyric, because this is a very, very beloved Taylor Swift song. And it's one of those where I think if you're a Swiftie, you'll get it immediately. If you're like not, I feel like it's recognizable enough. There have been so many like edits, and this has been used in the background so much. Whenever I go on like people's bios, I've probably seen this at least 10 times in YouTube bios, at least twice in Pinterest bios, and I've honestly seen this at least 20 times in Goodreads bios. Like, this is just one of those like really quotable things where I've seen it just so much everywhere. Like, it's relatable. I relate to it. I was talking to a lot of my friends, whether they're Swifties or not, like they can relate to that, they connect to that, and I feel like having something, if you can draw a common thread to my past 2 dedications, I love making things that are relatable, that can connect book readers alike, whether you're new to the genre, new to reading, or like you are an avid reader. Like, I want something that hits hard, but I also want something that's customized to the book. Both the Devices, I try to do that, since really the main focus of the Both the Devices was mental health, which again comes through sort of kinda in the dedication. And in this one, I feel like I'm just kind of uniting common themes. Really, again, it comes back to the themes, and I feel like this is a good lesson. I could do a whole video about dedication, like book dedications if you want, like how to come up with them if you guys want ideas. But I think that it really depends on what you want your dedication to accomplish, if that makes any sense. Like, do you want it to be one of those really sweet, heartwarming ones that have readers being like, aww? Or do you want them to be kind of like short, to the point, satirical? Like, what vibe are you going for? Also, you have to tie it to your book. So a lot of times, like if it's a fantasy book, the authors will sometimes kind of try to connect it to that. So like, for example, I was on Pinterest the other day. Let me set this down. I was on Pinterest the other day. Let me show y'all. Okay, so like Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, third book in the Imperior like 4th Wing series. To the ones who don't run with the popular crowd, ones who get caught reading under their desks, the ones who feel like they never get invited, included, or represented, get your leathers, we have dragons to ride. Or wing leaders. Who said that? Who said that? That's kind of a good example because, as you can tell, she kind of started off a little bit sentimental, a little bit wholesome and sweet, because like, hello, hi, that's me. But then at the very end, she tied it back to like the fantasy dragon writing element that the whole series is based off of. So you kind of want to like be sweet, be encouraging, introduce, like welcome your readers with open arms, but also you wanted to have some tie, some connection, whatever you choose that to be, to your book, to your book's genre, to the plot, to characters, to like themes in your book, core values in your book, etc., etc. This is one of my favorite book dedications. I love it so much. I haven't even read the book, but I've been seeing it so much on Pinterest. The book is Invisible Ghosts, and the dedication is for the girl who secretly hoped she'd get a Hogwarts letter, for the girl who makes wishes on every 11/11, for the girl who ran out of space on her bookshelves and bought this book anyway. So basically, you kind of get the vibe. Like, you could study books on your own bookshelf. Those were just a couple examples, but I think really making it, you see a theme here, making it relatable. And obviously you can't relate to every single person that's going to pick up this book, but I think also tying it to some things you like, because chances are if that's something you do, like the 11/11 thing, it's something a lot of other people do. And I know that's like really popular, but like, for example, if you're someone who purposely finishes all your assignments early during class so you could read, like chances are there's going to be at least one other person who's reading your book who does that too. So like trying to find something kind of relatable, but also, like I said, kind of sweet. I have seen some like harsh ones, but they're like playfully harsh. Like the author has a good sense of humor kind of thing, but a lot of them that I've seen, they're kind of like heartfelt on some level. And like I said, they do kind of sort of tie back to the book. Oh, also, the day, I promised I would kind of expose the day that I first created this dedication, and I found it. Are you ready? It's actually sooner than I thought. June 17th. Today's November 13th. I've been sitting on this, waiting to tell somebody, anybody. I'm finally telling the manuscript. I'm writing it down, the manuscript. It's been sitting in the poor notes app on my phone. I finally get to put it in the manuscript, and I'm telling you guys. So, I hope you really like it. Let me know down below what you think. Please don't tell anyone else, because I do want it to be a surprise for other people who are not watching my video, like when they open the book to see it. But, I don't know, I'm proud of it. Anyway, enough rambling from me. I'm going to go back to editing. Okay, also, I got like 2 sentences in to line edits. It's okay. I got distracted again. I had to pick up my phone and record. I wanted to mention something. I'm noticing kind of a pattern with some of my earlier chapters, and I mean probably the first 5 or 6 clustered together. And that is that I use a lot of pop culture references within those chapters. What I mean by that, for example, I included the mention of Olivia Rodrigo in chapter 1. Not only does Olivia Rodrigo get mentioned, but the song by Olivia Rodrigo that most describes Natalia, aka Brutal, is mentioned by name. Like, literally, Natalia says that she's listening to Brutal by Olivia. And then Gracie Abrams is mentioned in chapter 5 or 6, I think. And so she's just saying that she was taking a bubble bath and listening to Gracie Abrams. My queen. And then in chapter, I don't know, when Kyle and Natalia kiss, that chapter right there. Once they finish kissing, I cannot wait for you guys to read that. I'm blushing. It's such a cute scene. But once they finish kissing and she goes back to her bedroom, they were in the kitchen when they were kissing. And when she's walking back to her bedroom, she was saying that, like, Risk by Gracie Abrams is, like, playing in her head on loop. Like, that's what was describing the last 10 minutes of her life. And so I mention her again. And then I mention Hallmark movies. And then I mention Pinkie Pie. That sounds so random out of context. Oh my gosh. You'll get there. It's an insult. It doesn't sound like an insult, but like there's another word after Pinkie Pie that Era calls Natalia because, you know, Natalia's pink-haired. Because I'm so creative with these. But anyway, I have a few of those, and there's probably a couple more that I haven't got to yet with my read-through, or like that I'm like just kind of skimming, because I haven't like officially gotten to my read-through. I'm really just skimming right now, and then still working on filter words and cutting those out. But I've just been using a lot of like modern terms and like real life songs and artists. My point of this is not that that's illegal. I know I was just talking about copyright a few minutes ago. That does not break any copyright rules. Now, I went through this debacle with my last book, and I did a whole buttload of research, so I promise this is accurate. So if you're thinking about this, or if you're worried about using stuff like this in your book, let me just clear the air. You can use song titles and artist names in your books. Like, a lot of rom-coms and contemporary romances nowadays are doing this, especially like Lynn Painter's books. Oh my gosh, yes. But really, like, a bunch of books, like, they're referencing other romance books, or they're referencing rom-com movies or TV shows or certain things. Like, even in The Cruel Prince, which is like, it starts off kind of contemporary and then like really shifts into hardcore fantasy, but they mention CVS at the beginning, and then they like actually call it CVS, which, if you're not from the US, it's like a huge pharmaceutical chain, but like they mention CVS by name because this does start out as a contemporary, and they might even mention Walmart. Don't know. But my point being, like, it's okay to use actual establishments or actual things. That's not frowned upon, and that will not get you in trouble legally. The only thing that gets you in trouble legally is when you start actually quoting. So you cannot use song lyrics in your books. And for everyone who's like, your dedication is... It's actually not, guys. Like, they're talking like at least 2 or more verses. I'm fine with my "Who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay?" And it's in the dedication. Like, I'm not capitalizing off of that in a fictional way. Also, Taylor's so popular, I'm pretty sure there have been literal books that are based off of actual Taylor Swift songs to a hardcore level. Like, I think I'm okay. If your character, let's say there's a singing scene. Don't get me started on singing scenes. Every time I think of one, I think of Alex Volkov from Twisted Love and that stupid, cringy singing scene. Oh my gosh, bleach that from my brain. My friend and I were laughing about that. It was the funniest thing ever, but it's the cringiest thing ever at the same time. If for whatever reason you're gonna turn your lovely little book into a Gotcha Life singing battle from 2020, and your character is gonna be singing it, you cannot have them singing like a paragraph of like real song lyrics. That will get you in trouble legally. But I will say this with some hesitation. I warn you guys to do this, and I'm noticing this in my own writing. Use this sparingly, because I use this a lot, and I mean a lot, in my last book, The Boat That Divides Us. I actually name dropped a song, Mind Games by Psychic, which I still listen to, by the way. It's such a good song, and it's like so resemblant of that book. So that song, I referenced Nancy Drew, Shatter Me, Pip Fitzamobi from A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Gracie Abrams. I feel like I mentioned like Blacklist or Dateline or one of those like criminal true crime shows. I did it at least 6 times. Like, genuinely, I thought it was okay. And I think, like, as I definitely got mixed reactions. I got so many people who were messaging me with the reactions being like, no way, like, Girl's Guide to Murder mention, or like, well, you just mentioned Shatter Me, wait, this just like made my day to see this, or like, and I would get people being like, oh my gosh, twins, her and I are the same, like, I love her even more that she loves Gracie. Like, I got so much positive feedback, and I think including those pop culture references has their advantages, because people, especially if they're more like recent or newer or more like trendy among the younger generation, for the younger generation and Gen Z, which are definitely probably reading this book because all my books are YA, so of course Gen Z are going to be reading it. They understand it, they get these, like, and I'm not saying I put like slang or brain rot, I promise I don't, but like I said, it's literally just like I drop movie titles or song titles in reference to like what they're saying, or like, I know me and my friends, especially my friend group last year, we would literally communicate in riddles of books and movies. We would literally make references to every situation. We would compare it to that. It was just like, it was so fun. And I think that like, it's really fun for the readers to be able to recognize a certain character, a certain, you know, superhero or song or band or TV show or whatever, and be like, no way that was mentioned. Like, it just makes them have a deeper connection to the story, and that's great. That's what we want. But I also got so many negative reviews of people being like, the pop culture references and name dropping really pulled me out of the story. It felt like you were breaking the fourth wall, and not in a good way. And it was just like really distracting. It didn't add much. It just felt like the author was trying to be too trendy, like blah, 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 blah. Which I think to a certain point, I see their side. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on them. Like, I think their opinions and feedback were valid. They're entitled to their own opinions. Obviously, whether I like them or not, that doesn't matter. That's their opinion. But I think what they were trying to say is, like, they read fiction to escape life and to escape reality. So when you start bringing reality into it, real stores and real like political figures and real movies or books, whether they love them or they hate them, real artists that may or may not be controversial or may or may not be like not so great people. I'm not saying that I included any, but just like in general, that can really annoy people. I feel like sometimes you want to just keep things really neutral and create everything. If you want to make a Gracie Abrams reference, say Casey Abrams. And you can just in your brain pretend she makes the same music, but just for a second, just don't break the fourth wall, which breaking the fourth wall, I can't really explain it, but it's basically like when your character is like almost like a real life person because you're trying to bring the real life person in, so like you as a real life person is shining through. I don't know how to explain it. You can read the summary here, but that can in fact pull readers out of the story and make them be like, oh yeah, this is life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it really can kind of just be jarring for them. You want to especially stay clear of this in like fantasy genres and all those subgenres, because your job as a fantasy author is to create an entirely new world, a new language, perhaps a new race, a new creature, a new species of people, a new culture, a new history of their land, a new magic system, etc. So if you start referencing Target and Trader Joe's and the Titanic movie, and one of your characters says how hot Leonardo DiCaprio is from the Titanic movie, that's great. I mean, I think he was too, but like, guys, isn't this supposed to be a fantasy novel about fairies and vampires and witches set in a world that is not ours? How do they know who Leonardo DiCaprio is in? How do they know what the Titanic is? How do they watch movies? Why do they know about this movie? They don't speak English. It's very technical. And I think that's what makes it so perfect for line editing, because I did notice these things, like, in this book. I just brushed over them, because I was like, this is not my concern, this is not my concern, this is not my concern. Now it's my concern. So, I feel like there is a fine line. I'm gonna keep some of it, like The Brutal by Olivia Rodrigo mentioned in chapter 1. Chef's Kiss. I don't care what people say. It is just so her. And, like, I feel like it sets the tone really nicely, and it adds to the flow of the scene, the mood of the scene, like, I'm keeping it. I don't really care what anyone says. However, I did change I kept the Risk by Gracie reference later on, but I changed the first Gracie reference. I just said, like, pop songs instead of, like, listening to Gracie Abrams specifically. I just said listening to pop songs. It conveys the same thing. Also, you run the risk of people, like, not knowing who Gracie Abrams is. Who wouldn't listen to her right now? But then they're like, they feel like they're missing something, or they feel like this is a new character that's being introduced because they don't know, like, it's an actual person. That kind of takes away from your whole point of it. And then it's like, then they feel like they have to remember it, and then it could throw them off. That's also where it could get distracting, which is what people were complaining about in my last book. Like, a celebrity from a certain country, and you get people from another country reading it, and they're like, who the heck is this? They might think it's another character. They might get all confused and frazzled, and that might impact how much they enjoy your book, or like how they read your book. So I have to be aware of that. I have not been, but I need to be, because that's a really, 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 really big deal, and I just need to pay more attention, be less dismissive of it, and like treat it a little bit more delicately, because I think I'm going to cut out half of them. I'm going to keep a couple, so you will see a few of those. I think they add to something, or if I'm like really attached to just like the banter, or like the context in which they were used, or like what they were comparing. But I think I'm definitely going to tone it down from my last book, because in hindsight, like, that was a little too much. I see what they mean. I feel like this is also just a really common problem, because there was this other book, I don't want to name drop, because I saw an interview with her, and she seems like the loveliest, sweetest, most hardworking person ever. Abbie Jimenez, I think. Do not quote me on this, guys. If you've read it, please let me know if I'm correct about this. I think it's Just for the Summer by Abbie Jimenez. Like I said, I know it was Abbie Jimenez, but I think it was this one. I think, where she mentioned Reese and, like, Reese from Akhtar. My husband! Literally one of my first book boyfriends. Like, I love him to bits and pieces. I read another Abbie Jimenez book, but just not that one. But you could literally go on Goodreads and, like, go specifically to, like, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I noticed especially a lot of, like, 2 and 3 star reviews had it. But apparently she mentioned Reese from Akhtar, like, several times, like 4 times or something. And we know it was him because, like, she kept the FMC, apparently, from what I got from reviews, kept referring to the MMC, like, kept telling him to be more like Reese, or like she gave him like book boyfriend lessons or something, which I think is so funny and so cute. I think the concept of that in a rom-com is really adorable. But then she kept like referencing Reese and stuff, and people hated on her. People literally tore this poor woman to shreds. I know she's a very successful author. Like, one of my favorite author tubers lives in the same like area as her, and she actually like owned a bakery, Abbie Emmon. And this author lived in the same area and like bought from that bakery when she was just starting out or something. So I have a lot of respect for this author. However, people do not have common decency or like respect to like keep their like, I don't want to say keep your opinions to yourself, but like not, there's a fine line between hating on the work and hating on the person behind the work if they didn't do anything super cancel worthy. And people were just like shredding her to pieces because of the fact that she mentioned another very, very popular book boyfriend. And I think it does come to a point, and I don't know if this is because Abbie, not that she's older, I think she's in her 30s, I don't know. But like, I think it does come to a point where like, yeah, are you just including this in here because you know the younger generation or book talk people are going to eat this up because they know that Reese in particular is a popular book boyfriend and he is very well known, and that you know if you throw them in there, you'll get people being like, oh my gosh, no way was he mentioned, like, oh, I love this reference, or like, no way, like, she likes him too. Like, she did it because she knew people would know it, and she only wanted to do it so that people could like wow over it. But I think sometimes when you do that, that's good, but sometimes when you do that, I think to some people it comes off as like, you're trying to elicit a reaction from us. You are trying so hard to make us like fangirl. You're trying to just throw in something that like you think we'll like. And like it might sound so unnatural for that character to say so casually like that. And it doesn't really fit into their character or like the tone or like what's going on. There are more serious pressing issues in this plot to worry about. Like, it just feels like a very forced author choice, and I think that's where it kind of becomes a little bit like distracting and kind of takes you out of the story, and like you're just not able to get back into it. So like I said, I don't think it's all bad. I think especially in contemporary romances and contemporaries in general, you will see this a lot. I know also as a writer, our jobs are not to please everybody. If I put a Gracie Abrams reference, I'm gonna get so many people who message me like last time and are like, oh my gosh, I love her too, like, no way, I love her even more because she loves her too, like, all of these things, or like, I love you so much for putting Gracie in there. I think that's actually something someone told me. But then there are also gonna be people who are pissed. Let them be pissed, bro. Like, that's not my problem to worry about if they're offended because I used Gracie Abrams one time because my character loves her and I love her. But I'm not going to completely make this book generic or bland or like neutral. I am going to sprinkle in some personality, and I think also if we want it to be realistic, let's think realistically. Like, my character isn't just someone who like her whole life is solving mysteries. Like, I want to really show that she has a life outside of it, and like, yeah, she listens to music that we do because she's a normal, totally real and alive teenager, you know what I mean? In this generation, like, of course she would listen to stuff like that. I don't know, I think it's really fun. The only like kind of plot hole I'm just now realizing is that she said that her and Kyle's kiss reminded her of the song Risk by Gracie Abrams. This book takes place in 2023. Risk came out in 2024. Oh shoot, I just realized that. We'll deal with that later. That's like that's not a priority right now. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. That was like not a rant. I just wanted to like say that is a big issue I'm noticing with my writing right now, is I'm including way too many modern references. I need to tone myself back a little bit. Like, I just need to remember, even if this is how me and my friends communicate, like, I do have to kind of remain a level of professionalism, and people don't usually like to see a lot, like excess of this in books. Once or twice is fine. I'm going to try to keep it to like maybe 2 or 3 times, but don't go overboard is the moral of the story. With that said, I've been talking forever. I've literally recorded the last like 3 clips in the last little bit. Like, whenever I said I gave the update and I said it was like 5:09 p.m, 5:19 or whatever I said, it's currently 6:34 p.m. I've been talking for over an hour. My voice is like gone. So you know what, I think we're gonna end the video here. I've gone through the ups and the downs, man. I started out really good, really hyped. I was ready. I was like ignorant and oblivious, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into at the beginning. I thought for some reason I was gonna jump straight into my read through. Spoiler, obviously, as you saw, I did not. Yeah, we're still on filter words, but Abbie Emmons videos, oh my gosh, they're a lifesaver. I love her so much. So I'm actually still working on that. I'm wrapping it up though, so I think we're good on that. Then I had a mental breakdown because I hated this book. Then I hated it less, but now I'm like rethinking stuff. And then I went through the front matter. Half of this video wasn't even line editing, let's be real, but it's still like part of draft 5. So it's okay. It's okay, I'm okay. Guys, I've been listening to too much Tate McRae and Gracie Abrams. We're not here to discuss my musical tastes. In the next video, by the way, I will be diving into like the actual read through. So what I was talking about before, where I like reread everything and then I pick apart and dissect line by line, that will be next week's video. I promise you, I pinky promise that'll be next week's video. I just had to get this stuff out of the way. This is kind of like laying the foreground, laying the foundation for how I'm gonna go about this process, and we will build off of it from there. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, even though my emotions were all over the place, even though like my steps and what I was doing was kind of like unplanned, it was scattered. It's okay. It's just a taste of who I am, what to expect around here. Like, it is pure chaos. I never stick to a plan. I always just ramble, and my videos always end up longer than they should be. But it's okay. I know you guys enjoy them. I hope you do at least. So that means the world to me. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you'll continue to stick around for the rest of my line editing videos until I freaking finish draft freaking 5. It's a lot of F's here. And I'm trying to figure out, because newsletter subscribers are getting to see the cover first. This is something I toyed with because I do want it to kind of be a surprise for everybody, because I have like a really fun video coming out and I have some other people collaborating with me on it that is coming out on Friday to reveal it to the general public on my YouTube channel. And I kind of wanted every single person to find out that way, except for people who are participating in my cover reveal team. But then I realized like I'm subscribed to a bunch of author newsletters, and like that's what people do. That's part of what the newsletter is for, is like an incentive of subscribing to my newsletters. You get stuff early. That's what I promised, and I will hold true to my promise. So I'm trying to decide which day next week I'm going to send the cover to you newsletter subscribers. I'm thinking Tuesday, November 18th. But don't quote me on that. It'll be no later than Wednesday. It'll either be Tuesday or Wednesday. Like, I promise it's not going to be any later than Wednesday, and it probably won't be earlier than Tuesday. So either Tuesday or Wednesday for sure, 100%. I will be sending that in my newsletter because I do want you guys to get a sneak peek. That's part of why you signed up. And also, like, I know I'm getting my most loyal, like, dedicated fans on my newsletter, so like you guys deserve to see the cover first anyway. Like, unless you want to wait, if you see a newsletter, not like the next newsletter, but a newsletter on Tuesday or Wednesday that has the subject of a cover reveal, and you don't want to be spoiled, you want to see it organically with my videos on Friday, then just don't click on it. But other than that, that's what I'll be prepping for. Line edits. Also, oh my gosh, how can I forget? I'm so all over the place. Oh my goodness. Tomorrow, I'll probably be vlogging this starting the next vlog because I'm wrapping this up today. But starting tomorrow and going into the weekend, I will be officially setting up pre-orders. I'm going to kind of vlog that. I know that's not really part of line editing, but I'll probably take 5 or 10 minutes with next week's vlog to document that, because that is a really important, vital part of the process still. And I'm just going to take you through like how to set up a pre-order and my steps for that. And then also, hopefully within the next few days, it'll show up, but like you guys won't know that because I'm not posting about it. So like if you see a pre-order pop up, but I haven't announced it yet, it's just because Amazon uploads them early, and I like to upload them early, like to test them out, to make sure they work before I announce them publicly. So like you can pre-order if you want, I guess. But I'm not announcing it until Friday, November 21st. But I'm going to set that up. The Goodreads page should be up in a few days, like by Wednesday of next week. For sure, at the latest, it should be up. And I'm so excited with the cover, and it'll be so beautiful. I'm really, really hyped for that. Line editing, pre-orders, cover reveal prep, newsletter stuff. That's it. Line editing. Mainly just line editing. Everything I talked about will also be in the description box down below. Please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. It really helps my channel. It helps the algorithm. Tell people that my channel is like somewhat interesting. Subscribe if you want to stick around and be notified for any future vlogs such as this one. And I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day or night. I'll see you all in the next video very, very soon. Bye!